Chapter 90. The Cursed Ballpoint Pen Fan. Yu's aunt had also seen the scene inside the classroom. The children sitting at the tables with their heads lowered were similar to the students shot inside her brother's group photo. After collapsing to the floor, fear was frozen on her face. She tried to stand up, but her limbs refused to listen to her command. "Shush!" Chen-Gay rushed to the woman's side to grab her arm and half-dragged her out of the education block. The rumors were real. Regardless of their cause of death, the students had all returned to that classroom. You saw it, right? Right? Seeing them in a picture and seeing them in real life had a completely different feeling. The woman's eyes bulged out of their sockets, and her breath came haltingly. "Let's leave this place for now." Chen-Gay dragged Fan Yu's aunt to the entrance of the education block. Before they left, he turned back to glance at the classroom. The door and windows were closed, and it was completely dark within. "I've been inside the school for so long already, and they haven't actively attacked me. Looks like they aren't malevolent spirits." Chen-Gay had basis to believe that. The girl who was made insane by Fan Yu's father had committed suicide in that classroom, and the one who came out to help her was one of the spirits from that classroom. The people who wrote the warning notes to Fan Yu's father were the spirits. They were trying to protect the school's students, even though their method was a bit wrong. Chen-Gay held Fan Yu's aunt as they wandered over to Muyang High School's front gate. They stood beside it to avoid the rain. It was already past midnight. Chen-Gay did not think it is wise to stay inside that 3 buildings, plus he had a random variable in Fan Yu's aunt to be concerned about. At around 1 a.m., the rain started to slow. There was light coming toward Muyang High School. When Chen-Gay saw this, he immediately turned on his flashlight and cried for help. As the leaves of the forest parted, a group of people forced their way through in their raincoats. "Here, the suspect has already been detained." Chen-Gay was excited, but when he saw the person who was leading the way, his confidence dwindled. "Why is it you again?" When Inspector Lee reached the gate and saw Chen-Gay, his face began twitching. "The same person has called the emergency hotline thrice in a week. This is the first time that has ever happened in the station's 35 years history. Did you know that? Even the officer who answers the calls felt like he can now recognize your voice." Chen-Gay was made speechless by Inspector Lee. He, too, felt embarrassed. He quickly hauled Fan Yu's aunt off the floor and led her to Inspector Lee. Inspector Lee asked his men to break the school's gate open, and before entering, he asked, "She's also a victim?" "No, she's one of the killers." Chen-Gay handed Fan Yu's aunt over to one of the officers. "One of the killers?" Inspector Lee flickered his flashlight thrice to alert his men. "There are other killers still hiding inside the school?" "The other killer is already dead." Chen-Gay summarized everything he knew for Inspector Lee. "This woman's brother was a voyeur, and after the brother's wife found out, she used it to leverage a divorce. Unwilling to part, her brother killed his wife, and she happened to see her brother do that. To prevent herself from being killed, she killed her brother." "So it was self-defense?" Inspector Lee caught on to the key question. "If that was the case, she should have reported to the police after that. However, after she killed her brother, she cleared the crime scene and left. The murder happened 3 years ago, and there is no other witness. Everything I know, it was she who told me." Chen-Gay pointed at Fan Yu's aunt. "So, it is not unlikely that she was lying. Where was the crime scene then?" Inspector Lee had skipped even asking why Chen-Gay was there. Even the assisting officers took this in their stride, like it was not out of the ordinary to find Chen-Gay there. "That, you'll need to ask her." Chen-Gay also wanted to know the location of the well. That was the last of his 4 side missions. Inspector Lee was far more experienced than Chen-Gay at interrogating. He accepted a clean towel from his men before passing it to Fan Yu's aunt. "Assault with intention to murder may send you to the chair, but if it was self-defense and the suspect shows signs of remorse, there might still be chance for you to see the light of day." Fan Yu's aunt gripped the towel silently. She did not look particularly afraid of death. "Think about your family. At your age, you should have your own children by now. If you refuse to cooperate, you might never see them again." Inspector Lee soon found an opening, and the moment he said that, Fan Yu's aunt started to waver. After 10 more minutes of persuasion, she finally spoke. "The hiding spot is at the hill behind the school, but I can only remember a general direction. She led Chen Gay and the police to a small hill behind the school. The bodies were dropped down a well. At the time, there was a landslide, and it covered the well completely. There was no road around Muyang High School for heavy-duty vehicles to enter. Thus, it would require manual labor if they wished to find that well. Chen Gay also considered that point. Inspector Lee, if we do not confirm her words as soon as possible, the case might shift when dawn arrives. Chen Gay squeezed to stand beside Inspector Lee. His heart was worried about his last side mission. Seal the scene first, and we'll wait for the crew to come with the necessary tools before the digging can start. Without the reminder from Chen Gay, Inspector Lee was already on the phone, arranging everything. At 2:15 a.m., the crew finally arrived. Inspector Lee assigned everyone their roles, and the digging began in earnest. Chen Gay also went to help by grabbing a shovel. He showed such conviction in his job that the officers were quite touched. At 3 a.m., the well at Muyang High School finally surfaced. At 4:30 a.m., the well was cracked open, and 2 bodies were retrieved from within. At the same time, Chen Gay's black phone vibrated. He received the mission accomplished message. Putting down the shovel, Chen Gay found a secluded spot and clicked the message open. You managed to reach the mission location on time, successfully experienced all 4 side missions, and survived until dawn. Muyang High School trial. Mission successful. A new scenario has been unlocked. Player can manipulate the props inside the set freely using the interface available on the phone. Trial mission completion rate more than 90%. Unlock this mission's hidden item. The cursed ballpoint pen. The cursed ballpoint pen. Broken. The pen spirit refused to answer to your call. It rolled its eyes at you before hiding away. Chapter 91. Increasing popularity. Reading the mission. Clear message. Chen Gay sighed in relief. This trial mission with a 2-star scream factor had been easier than he anticipated, but that was probably because the spirits inside Muyang High School meant him no harm. When he was halfway through the mission, he had already noticed that the residents of Muyang High School were not baleful specters. Including the pen spirit, they had no malicious intent. What had happened to Fan Yu's father was merely karma. The most difficult side missions were definitely the classroom and the deep well. Even now, he still had not truly uncovered the mystery of the sealed classroom. He did go in to experience it once, and thankfully, the spirits inside did not make things too difficult for him. The difficulty of the deep well mission was high as well. Even with the aid of the police, they had dug for a whole night before locating the well before dawn. If he had attempted that alone, he definitely would have failed the mission. Chen Gay felt satisfied with the rewards. He did not mind too much about the unlocked hidden item. According to legend, pen spirits could predict the future, but his pen spirit did not seem to be knowledgeable about anything, and had no principles or morals. The rain that had continued throughout the night finally stopped. The police did not forget to praise Chen Gay for his contribution. After taking his testimony, they drove him home. The emergency call and a whole night of digging had led to tired officers. Inside the car, the one sitting next to Chen Gay was falling asleep. Chen Gay nudged his own body to the door to make space for the officer. The journey home was silent. Chen Gay arrived at New Century Park at 6 a.m. It could have been the yin-yang vision or constant exposure to spirits, but Chen Gay felt incredibly cold. He lay in his bed, but sleep would not come. He turned to his phone and was shocked to realize there were more than 10 unanswered calls and unread messages. Most of them came from Hisan, mainly asking about his safety and whether he needed to call the police. At the bottom of the inbox was a message from Dr. Gao. The good doctor said that Fan Yu's symptoms might be related to the people around him, and he advised Chen Gay to pay closer attention to such individuals in the boy's life. The message was sent at 12:30 a.m. By then, Fan Yu's aunt had come clean to Chen Gay. After replying to both He-san and Dr. Gao, Chen Gay opened the video sharing app and clicked into his personal page. A 4-hour live stream, but not a word with the chat. And I even closed the stream several times in the middle without warning. I can only imagine the damage that was done to my popularity. After detaining Fan Yu's aunt, Chen Gay had closed the live stream in deference to Fan Yu's privacy and future. He did not have the time to explain the situation to his viewers. His attention had been required elsewhere. After loading the main page, Chen Gay glanced at the interface and was shocked to realize that his livestream's followers had increased to 39,000 users. I remember before the livestream, I had less than 10,000 followers. What happened last night during the livestream? He had been so occupied with the side mission that he had allowed the livestream to play on its own. He did not think too much of it, so he was surprised by this sudden reward. Just as Chen Gay was trying to figure out what had happened, He-san's call came. As he answered it, he could hear the commotion on the other side. "Boss, I knew you're still alive." Chen Gay ignored He-san's celebration and asked directly, "What happened last night during my live stream? Why did my followers and views grow so tremendously?" "Since you started your live stream last night, the number has been growing, but it was incredibly slow until you started to play the Pen Spirit game. Someone created a thread on the app forum exposing Qin Guang for his plagiarism, and then even attached your first live stream." He-san's voice turned sharp from indignation. "Qin Guang's live stream plagiarized your content down to the analysis, set, and even the identity of the killer, who was played by an actor. The evidence was right before their eyes, but Qin Guang's fans refused to admit it. They started to slander your name in the thread, saying that it was you who was mimicking their idol." "Probably just the 50-cent army won? Nothing unusual. Then what happened next?" Many viewers went to Qin Guang's livestream to demand an explanation, but Qin Guang pretended not to have seen them. Not only that, he banned any viewers who brought up your name. However, with his high popularity and the all-in promotion by the platform, there were 800,000 viewers at the start of his livestream, and with the chat scrolling so fast, his team missed some of your mentions. Thus, a number of his viewers who were curious came over to your livestream. He-san got increasingly excited. The highest viewers during your livestream was 50,000, but it was the combination of passers-by, paid viewers, Qin Guang's fans, and your own fans. It was a mess. You don't have any mods in your livestream, so even after the livestream had stopped, the chat kept going for another half an hour. By the way, thanks to this chaos, your livestream entered the popular ranking for the midnight session. Congratulations. Not many newbie hosts can enter that ranking so early in their career. Chen Gay could imagine the chaos in his livestream last night, but it was a blessing in disguise since his follower number did have a tremendous increase. After all, he was not lacking in content, but exposure. "Slow down. After all, that was just my second livestream." Chen Gay talked for a few more minutes with He-san before hanging up. He looked at the private messages that he had received from the other users of the app. Most of them were curses, but there were a few who could not stand Qin Guang's bullying and chose to send Chen Gay their support. Near the bottom of his inbox, Chen Gay recognized a familiar user handler. The profile picture was similar to the studio that had harassed him before. The message warned him to not resort to dirty tricks, or he would make sure Chen Gay was unable to survive on this platform. If another host saw this, they might have been afraid, but Chen Gay was different. Live streaming and posting short videos were merely ways for him to promote his haunted house. After blocking this account, Chen Gay exited the app and picked up the black phone. Mu Yang High School, Scream Factor 2 stars. The setting up of the scenario has been completed. You can now go down to the subterranean level to visit it. Warning: Mu Yang High School is considered part of the 4-star scenario School of the Afterlife. Its space is twice the size of a normal scenario. Please familiarize yourself with the interior layout before putting it to use. After looking at the message on the phone, Chen Gay sat up in bed. The size is twice normal scenarios? Wait, don't tell me. The whole of Mu Yang High School has been moved here? He put on his shoes and ran to the first floor, peeled off the wooden boards and peered downward. The abandoned underground parking lot had been given a new look. The stairs had signs of being charred. The darkened corridor was littered with unfinished test papers. The doors to the classrooms creaked in the darkness, and shadows could be seen flitting between the upturned tables.